Good day, I welcome you back. Dr. Scott, your online headache doc, the only doctor of any kind certified by both the American and International Boards of Commonsensical Medicine. Welcome to this week's episode of Relief at Last, what your doctor won't tell you about your migraines, your headaches, and your ongoing pain. The last 2 weeks, we discussed medication dependency or medication overuse, migraines and headaches. Those episodes have sparked more questions than any other episode we've done this season. And the reason is drug therapy, pills, shots, and potions have become virtually the only method of treatment in medicine today for our migraines and headaches. Yet, we know, using common sense, we're not having migraines and headaches because we haven't found the right drug yet. We also established there has never been a magic pill. There never will be a magic pill for our migraines and our headaches. Pinpointing the true cause is the only way to finding significant long-lasting relief. So, I want to start today's episode by saying if you look in the wrong place, you're never going to find what you're looking for. And that is the real, true cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. And as we discussed last week, the medical research for many, many decades has continued to prove that most migraines and headaches do not originate from a problem inside of your head, but rather specific upper spinal disorders that result in compression of the spinal canal or the nerves, thereby resulting in the neurological symptoms. So you may not have a true, quote-unquote, neurological disorder, as many doctors will tell you, but rather you are experiencing neurological symptoms as the result of compression of the spinal canal and or the nerves in the upper part of your spine where your brain and your spinal cord connect. This is what the medical research continues to prove year after year and decade after decade. So, the vast majority of my patients visiting my day-to-day practice have sought help from many other sources. Many times it's their primary care doctor. Sometimes they're referred to a neurologist, which, by the way, in our so-called healthcare system, the neurologist has become the preferred specialist for migraines and headaches. Yet, as we discussed in previous episodes, a neurologist may not be the appropriate specialist at all, since you may not even have a true neurological disorder. So, most doctors, most specialists usually recommend the wrong tests to diagnose the cause of your migraines and headaches. And as we know, the most common testing for those of us who have battled migraines, or for those of you that continue to battle migraines and headaches, is a neurological evaluation, which the vast majority of the time is, you just said it, didn't you? Normal or unremarkable. The findings show that there are no definable neurological deficits. There is no identifiable neurological cause to your migraines and headaches. And then many of us have had imaging studies done of the head or of the brain, an MRI being the most common. So when we do an MRI of the brain or the head, again, the vast majority of the time, the findings are unremarkable. They do not reveal the cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. And it's simply because you're looking in the wrong place and you'll never find the cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. So, why would a simple X-ray, a simple fast, inexpensive X-ray taken both from the front and from the side of the base of your skull and the upper part of your spine reveal more about why you're having migraines and headaches than an MRI? Well, research continues to show that specific upper spinal structural disorders can compress the spinal canal and the nerves that result in your migraines and headaches, that result in neurological type symptoms. But why don't our medical specialists recommend X-rays then? Why is it always a neurological examination and an MRI or CAT scan of your brain or of your head? You're looking at the point where the symptoms are most severe. So I suppose if we're having headache-type symptoms in our head, I can see why, if you're looking for a type of treatment to temporarily treat the symptoms, you might want to look in the head. And sure, it's not a bad idea to rule out neurological emergencies. Nobody wants to be the 1 in a million case where a brain tumor or bleeding in the brain is present. However, I'm going to tell you, according to the research and based on my well over 3 decades now in private practice, it's a rarity, and those people that have brain tumors, bleeding in the brain, present with very, very distinct symptoms that are not typical in 99+% of our migraine and headache patients. There are red flags, in other words. So, the vast majority of migraine and headaches have, quote-unquote, normal MRI results. So here's what I want you to take from this podcast so far. According to decades upon decades of proven published medical research, your migraines and headaches may not be a head problem, but rather a problem in the upper part of your spine, compressing the spinal canal and nerves. So, in medicine today, whether that's our primary care doctor, a neurologist, a pain management specialist, for example, X-rays are reserved in medicine for broken bones, dislocations, for problems or damage to the bone structure itself. So, migraines and headaches don't result in broken bones, and migraines and headaches don't result in direct damage to the structure of the bones themselves. Therefore, X-rays are usually not considered or rarely considered. However, this is a huge mistake, because a simple X-ray taken from the front and from the side reveals, listen to this, the path that your spinal cord and nerves travel. So we can actually see the canal. We can see the opening, the neuroforamina, the opening where the nerves pass from your spinal cord and travel to all parts of your body, including your head, including your upper spine, and it can include certainly other symptoms. TMJ type symptoms, carpal tunnel type symptoms are all common with the same disorder of the upper spine that results in migraines and headaches. If you compress the spinal canal, if you compress the nerves that travel, the branches that travel from your spinal cord, wherever those nerves travel to, you can potentially have symptoms. It's as simple as that. And if you're looking in the wrong place, where the symptoms result, at the end point of the nerve, rather than the origin of the nerve where the compression and the pressure starts, you're never going to find the real true cause. So, here's what I want you to take from this podcast today. Number one, if you look in the wrong place, you're probably never going to find the true cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. Your headaches and migraines may not be a head problem, but according to the published medical research, compression of the spinal canal and or nerves in the upper part of your spine, and again, wherever those nerves travel, you can potentially end up with neurological type symptoms, such as migraines, headaches, and many other associated symptoms. Number 2, you may not have a neurological disorder, as most of the medical community has defined migraines and headaches. Neurological testing, when it's all unremarkable, when it's all quote-unquote normal, imaging studies of your brain and your head, when they're all normal, you cannot label your symptoms as a neurological disorder when there simply is not an identifiable neurological cause to your problem. You are more than likely having what we term neuromusculoskeletal disorder, which means neurological type symptoms as the result of compression of the spinal canal and or nerves in the upper part of your spine. So, my advice today is simply this. The only way that most people are going to find significant, long-lasting improvement and relief from their migraine and headache symptoms is you absolutely must consult a specialist who is specifically trained in migraine and headache disorders, not someone who's trained in migraines and sleep apnea and carpal tunnel, and that's not specializing. If you specialize in everything, you specialize in nothing. So, a specialist specifically and exclusively with migraine and headache disorders, and, listen closely to this, and the specialist must be trained in the specific upper spinal disorders that compress the spinal canal and nerves, resulting in your neurological type symptoms, resulting in your migraines and your headaches. This is the key, specializing in both of these areas exclusively. So, if you look in the wrong place, you'll never find the cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. MRIs of the head and the brain are targeting the area where the symptoms are, not targeting the origin or the cause of the spinal compression or the nerve compression. A simple X-ray study with pictures taken from both the front and the side will show us the path that the spinal cord and the nerves travel and help us identify where is that physical compression taking place, so then a specific personalized treatment plan can be put into place to help remove that compression, thereby addressing the real, true cause of your migraine and headache symptoms once and for all. Next week, we're going to get specific. We're going to kind of continue this series. We talked about medication overuse and medication dependency, migraines and headaches, because quite frankly, that is usually the primary option that we're offered. And today we discussed why not an MRI? Why would we recommend an X-ray instead of an MRI study? And next week, we're actually going to get into more detail as to what are the two most common specific upper spinal disorders that we're looking for on these X-rays. What would we actually see on your X-ray that would cause compression of the spinal canal and the nerves, resulting in your migraines and headaches? Then, after we talk about these very specific two most common structural disorders resulting in your neurological symptoms, we will then proceed in the following week to, if in fact we are 100% certain that your migraines and headaches are caused by one of these two specific upper spinal disorders, what do you do to fix the cause of the problem once and for all? Thanks for listening. Please, again, share this podcast with somebody that you know, somebody that you care about, that continues to battle ongoing migraines, headaches, or pain. I'm Dr. Scott, your online headache doc, and those are the facts. And everything else, well, it's just another opinion. The information contained in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not meant to substitute for your doctor or healthcare provider's advice or recommendations. It is based on Dr. Scott's personal experience battling debilitating migraines for years, as well as his more than 31 years in private practice, specializing exclusively in migraine, headache, and chronic pain disorders. Copyright 2024 by Milagros Media, LLC.